Lady Doctor, had this been building up at all, or was it something that just happened overnight?
Well, if they had not wanted me, as they have already said in the press, why did they send us a personal invitation of which my husband can now produce and show it?
Seems to have been something like that about it.
It would never have occurred, because I would never have thought of going there. But they have said that they hadn't sent that to us. But you can't help seeing it. It is there.
Lady Doctor, is there any chance of this quarrel being patched up, for example, with apologies?
No. I'm at war with Rainier. I don't like a man who attacks a woman in the way he has. In his own principality, he has every right. But this treaty business has only just been enforced. And very recently, and I believe it's only for criminals, you know, you do a murder or you do something ghastly. I believe that. But he has tried to ban me from all my friends on the Côte d'Azur, and I have many, many, many friends on the Côte d'Azur.
What do you intend to do about it now?
I think the Côte d'Azur will decide that. I don't think they want Prince Rainier, I'll give him the title of Prince, to dominate the Côte d'Azur.
You've been quoted as saying that you intend to take legal action against Prince
That
Rainier.
is for my husband. I take no legal action whatsoever.
Lady Doctor, would you like to sit here, please?
Mr. Joyce will see him.
Joyce here?
Leave this near you, just in case I walk in with it.
It's only beauty box, isn't it? Nothing in it. It was terribly kind of you to be bothered about it.
Yes. Lady Doctor, what the position is this? We have 3 reporters here. One is from America, one from Canada, one from England. I wonder if you'd be kind enough each. That's all. I promise you no more than that. It'd help us from the technical point of view, and also, of course, the Americans and the Canadians have a different viewpoint on what we want.
I know everyone has a different view on this subject.
Yes, I appreciate that.
But there's only one view to
Yes,
be
yes,
taken.
I quite agree. But would you mind if somebody else took my place later on and asked you practically the same questions? Because
Not a bit. It's quite
very, very grateful.
I
Thank you
can
very
give
much.
them.
Go on first.
Lady Doctor.
Right. Running you.
Right. Lady Doctor, may we have your version of exactly what happened to cause your expulsion?
Indeed. I went over there at the express invitation which I received in London from my husband and for me, the two of us, to go to the celebration, not to the baptism, but to the celebration. As it happened to be my son's birthday, I thought that it would be a wonderful way of celebrating it, an anniversary for him and for a little prince. I saw it that way. And so I cancelled the lovely party that I had arranged for him in London, and we went over there. Well, we arrived on Friday. My husband went up to the palace. He did everything he could. I think he saw everybody in sight. And right at the end of it, he had to say to me, "I'm sorry, darling, I don't think we can get Lance in at this reception." I said, "Well, in that case, I don't think I'll want to go. I don't give up hope yet." And so then the maitre d'hotel of the Hotel de Paris, Monsieur Bro, said, he's known us for many years, he said, "This is ridiculous. This is monstrous. Of course, your son should go with you to the palace." So he went, and he tried, and he had to come down with the same answer. I don't think you can get through that iron curtain.
Well, Sir Bernard, may I ask you about this? Do you intend to take legal action?
Well, I would think not. I would like to reserve all rights, as they say, but I don't view this as a matter that should turn out that way. So far as this prince is concerned, well, I write him off. We ourselves don't want to go there. The whole thing was a perfectly stupid thing. Nobody's time ought to have been wasted over this silly incident. They could have so easily dealt with it by acceding to a very reasonable request. If he got any complaints to make, he could have made them to me, instead of doing this perfectly ridiculous thing. And if there's any question of apologies, I think it's time he made them. Now, as my wife has said, the part that interests us is the French angle. And I'm quite sure that when our French friends realize that this treaty works in a somewhat mysterious way that they didn't expect, they will say, well, it's about time something happened. So that, and if that is in fact true, all this complete nonsense will not have been quite in vain, because at the moment, anybody going to the south of France ought to be warned of this treaty. They go and stay in Cannes, they put their nose into Monte Carlo, they cause some rather touchy official to dislike them, and they find themselves banned from the whole lot. I mean, it's quite childish. And I mean, our French friends are so sensible and so reasonable, I'm quite sure they'll understand and put it right. I'm not the least apprehensive.
May I ask you one other question? You're quoted as saying that you must have the atmosphere of the French Riviera to live. What do you intend to do now?
I have the French atmosphere. The Côte d'Azur, if you had seen them giving me my farewell, and it wasn't farewell, no one would say goodbye.
Did you?
All they would say was au revoir.
You hope to go back?
Of course, as they all want me back. I've known them so many years, why shouldn't they?
Lady Doctor, it's been suggested that you might have spent more of your time, devoted more of your time to charities, for example, in this country. What do you say to that?
I say I would rather not make any comment on what I do behind the scenes. I'm not the type of person who goes running around and telling people how much I do for charity. I know what I do. That is, and I'm very happy about that in my heart. I don't want to make a publicized job of it. I do this, I do the other. That doesn't give me any happiness at all. It's what I do behind the scenes and not reported. Never make any mistake about this. The newspapers will never report anything that you do good. But they don't half quote you on the things where you might slip up on.
Thanks very much.
That one?
Yes, fine. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, may I, my American colleague, take over?
Okay.
Sorry.
You starting or am I?
Okay, Bob.
Lady Doctor, would you tell us exactly what happened in Monaco?
I will indeed. I went over there with a great feeling of celebrating the baptism of little Prince Albert. I love children, and I love Grace, and I've always respected Rainier in many ways, but not now anymore. I took my son over there because it was his birthday. I thought it would be a good thing if we could have a little birthday party, not to join them, but just to go and drink a glass of champagne at the reception, not at the baptism, but at the reception.
And you were forbidden to do this?
We were forbidden to take my son. We had the invitation ourselves.
And so what did you do then?
I said, if my son can't go with me, he's celebrating his 19th birthday, and Albert will one day celebrate his 19th birthday. Would his mother feel the same way if she brought him over here to Buckingham Palace? And they didn't know, and she sent that sort of request and was refused. From one mum to a mum, I didn't like it.
Lady Doctor, what about the flag?
The flag, well, we had the last incident, that, if we call it an incident, we went into the Hotel de Paris very late in the afternoon. There were only about 2 tables there occupied. I noticed one man, and I did remark, as he went by, he looked rather like a toy soldier. He got masses of medals on, I can't think from where. He got all sorts of braid and epaulets and a lot. We had been then refused that my son Lance could go to the reception. So we had lunch, but before we had lunch, I picked up a little paper flag the size of this, the size of a postcard, smaller, and I said, to hell with the Monegasques.
Do you feel deeply insulted, Lady Doctor?
Deeply insulted? Of course I do. I'm at war with Rainier. I feel so insulted that a man with 2 children doesn't know how to behave himself.
Would you tear up the flag again?
I would tear it up every time unless he learns to know Prince Rainier, as he calls himself. He must know how to behave. I don't wish to have anything to do with that flag. At all.
Sir Bernard, are you going to take legal action now?
I should think probably not. What I'm concerned about much more than the Monte Carlo end, which is perfectly...
The first Prime Minister to pay Malaya a state visit since independence was Mr. Noble.